Hi everyone, I'm Ray, and today I am filming the New York Times by the book tag. And I have my computer near me with these questions. And again, my eyes are pretty bad, and I've apologized for this before, so if I'm like squinting and struggling, please just bear with me. So I think I will just jump right into this challenge. And the first question is, what book is on your nightstand now? And that is The Garden of Evening Mists, and by Tan Tuan Eng. I'm just gonna, hope I'm pronouncing that okay. And it was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2012. And all of the reviews I've seen of this were excellent. And I have not heard much about this book on BookTube, but I just think it sounds really interesting, and it's historical fiction, which I always enjoy, and it's based in Malaysia, and it's kind of like not a book I would typically pick up, but I do like reading historical fiction, so I think I will enjoy this one. And alright, the second question is, what was the last truly great book that you read? And I was kind of torn between two books, but I think I'm gonna say The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And I did hear a few weeks ago that this is being made into a movie with Oprah or something. I'm not quite sure. I didn't look that much into it, but yeah, I don't read too many nonfiction books. It takes kind of like a really phenomenal book to make me pick it up, or really phenomenal reviews, I guess. And from the beginning, I just, I really enjoyed it. I like the way that she kind of put the family's story, every other chapter, and then would include all of the research she'd done, and the information about the HeLa cells and the science, every other chapter. So it definitely had like a human element to it. It wasn't just, like a lot of, research and information. So I really enjoyed this book, like I said, and I will definitely watch the movie, or I don't know if it's a miniseries or a movie when it comes out, because I thought this was just excellent, and I would highly recommend that one. Okay, the third question is, if you could meet any writer, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to know? And I really had trouble with this one. There are so many great authors I would want to meet. J.K. Rowling, of course. But I think I would probably want to meet Jane Austen, of course, or Virginia Woolf. I've been reading a few of her works lately, Virginia Woolf, and she just has like such a poetic way of writing, and the writing is just so intelligent and just tied to nature and just feminist and just so advanced for its time that I don't know if I would have any specific questions to ask her. I would just want to sit down and talk to her and pick her mind a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I think she would be someone that would be really interesting to meet and just talk to. Okay. Number 4 is, what books might we be surprised to find on your shelves? And this one was difficult. I guess there was nothing really surprising. I have gotten rid of a lot of my books. So I would have said maybe like the Suki Stackhouse books, because I read those, I want to say when I was like a teenager, and obviously they weren't, critically acclaimed or anything. They were just kind of, light, entertaining reads. But the physical book I actually have I guess would be maybe a surprise because I don't read a lot of like self-help books, is Whoopi Goldberg's If Someone Says You Complete Me, Run, and it says Whoopi's Big Book of Relationships, and this was given to me as a gift. I watch The View a lot, whenever I see my mom, we watch it together, and we have, I'm like, I don't even want to admit how long it's been, like 10 years or something embarrassing. So, I mean, we love Whoopi, and she was talking about this book on The View, promoting it a bit, and I think someone who knows that I watched The View saw this the bargain section or something at Barnes & Noble and picked it up for me, and it was not something I would have ever like picked up for myself, but I read it, and I mean, I did enjoy it. I like Whoopi's perspective, I guess, on relationships, and that you should be, completely, I guess, be your own person, go into a relationship knowing yourself, and as she says, not expecting the other person to complete you. And this book was funny, and she made some really good points, and I enjoyed it, a lot more than I thought I would. So if you're looking for, a relationship advice book, then I enjoyed this. I'd recommend it. And I'm not sure how many stars I gave it on Goodreads, maybe 3. Okay. Let me see. Number 5 is, how do you organize your personal library? And everything is a mess right now, so I can't even show you. I'm actually giving away all of my furniture this weekend, so my bed is going to be on the floor, and I'm not going to have any bookshelves. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm going to probably have some trouble filming because of that, obviously, with no furniture or anything. I'm going to have an end table and this little bookcase behind me and my mattress, and that's about it. So, yeah, I've got some not so great times right now, but what was I talking about? The books that I sort. When I do have them on my shelf, I sort them by author, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I just sort them by the author's last name in alphabetical order. I don't really separate them by genre. I might, but I haven't really felt the need, I guess, because my tastes are pretty, like, varied, so I don't have, a super massive collection of any one genre, so it didn't really seem necessary to separate them. And then I also have, behind me, which you can't really see, it's like a small bookshelf where I just have my unread, TBR books, and I don't sort those, in any order. I just kind of have them all there so I can pick out what I want to read, when I'm in the mood to read it. Okay. Number 6 is, what book have you always meant to read and haven't gotten around to yet? Anything you feel embarrassed never to have read. And I have 3, which I don't have physical copies of. And the first one is a book I've been meaning to read for a really long time, and that is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. And I think I have her copy of Letters to My Daughter, and that was excellent. I think I read that in school, and then I reread it a couple of times at least. And I've always been meaning to pick up more of her works, but I've just haven't gotten around to it, and it's just one of those books that I'm like, why haven't you read it yet? Why haven't you read more of her work, But I don't know, I just haven't. I really have no excuse for it. And then I also put, ooh, these are embarrassing, The Princess Bride, which for some reason I never read. Maybe I just wasn't, like, in the right age, like, when it came out. I mean, maybe I was a little too young, or, I mean, a lot of people have said that their parents introduced them to it or something, and my parents, or my mom, she, certainly read to me a lot, but she never read that to me, and I've never even seen the movie. So I feel like everybody has read this book or seen the movie or both, and I think the movie is on Netflix now, and so I was looking at it and just like thinking, okay, do I read the book before I watch the movie, or just watch it and then read? Yeah, I'm not sure. So, sorry, my camera is blinking at me. So yeah, that one's kind of embarrassing. And then the other one is Gone with the Wind, which is just, a classic that I don't own. I don't think I've ever owned a copy, because I definitely would have, started to read it if I had one. And again, I feel like everybody's read that book and maybe seen the movie, and I'm just like, I need to read these books. I feel like so left out whenever anybody, quotes them or talks about them. It's kind of embarrassing. Okay. Let's see. Number 7 is disappointing, overrated, just not that good. What book did you feel you were supposed to like but didn't? Did you remember the last book you put down without finishing? And that is a book that I donated, weeks ago, and that was The Elegance of the Hedgehog. And I didn't really read the reviews before I read this book, which maybe kind of contributed to the problem, because if I had read the reviews, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But I had just seen it, all over BookTube and just, on book review sites, and in the bookstores and everything. And so I got it and I started it, and I just did not like it at all. I thought the writing was just kind of condescending, and it was just trying too hard, and I didn't like the characters. I was just like, it was like the first book in a while I picked up, and I was just like, I am not enjoying this. I'm not going to continue with it. And I was surprised because I had seen so much of it. But then, I went on Goodreads and read the reviews to see if anyone else kind of had similar experiences with the book, and they had. So I was like, okay. So that was disappointing, but I'm glad I didn't, waste my time reading a book that I wasn't enjoying. Okay, let's see. Number 8 is, what kind of stories are you drawn to and you stay clear of? Okay, stories. That's difficult because, I'm drawn to just really the most random stories, I guess. Like, if it sounds interesting to me, I will pick it up. That's kind of, like I was saying before, I don't sort my bookshelves according to genre because I just have, like, such a random selection. I am kind of, like, drawn toward, like, literary fiction and classics, and occasionally, some adult fantasy or sci-fi. I do not read YA. Like, I can't remember the last time I read YA book. Maybe it was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, something like that. I'm not sure. And I read that, I think, because my sister had a copy, and she, kept talking about it, and I was like, I'll give it a read. And it was, just average to me. But yeah, I don't read a lot of YA just because, I don't find that I can relate to the characters at all. They're kind of going through different experiences in life than I am, and I just find, like, that the characters, like, they're all kind of cliched, and there are so many tropes, and they're predictable, and I don't want to go into a rant. It's just personal. I know a lot of people enjoy reading YA, but, it's not for me. I've kind of stopped reading it. So, yeah. Okay. Number 9 is, if you could require the president to read one book, what would it be? And that's a tough one, because I feel like the president is pretty well read. So I don't feel like I could recommend a book to him that he hadn't necessarily read. And, I was going through, like, Goodreads trying to think about this, and I just didn't really come up with anything because, he's well read enough. So I think if I had to, like, say, he should read something, maybe he should pick up some fantasy because, I'm sure his job is pretty stressful, and I'm sure that sounded ridiculous. His job is stressful. That's all I could think of. I mean, I didn't have a good answer to that, because I know he reads a lot. So, I'm sorry, but that was a question I didn't really have anything to say anything on. Alright, and number 10, the last question is, what do you plan to read next? And what do I plan to read next? That is The Passage by Justin Cronin. And this is a book I'm reading for Book Riot's Read Harder Challenge. This is going to be the horror book that I read. And I don't know much about it other than, you know, that it's a very popular series. I think there are 2 or 3 books in the series. I'm not quite sure. And I heard there are vampires in it and that it's kind of like a dystopian novel, but I really don't know much about it plot-wise, and I haven't really read the reviews of it. I'm just gonna dive into it. So hopefully I enjoy it. And yeah, don't know anything about that. Alright, so that was it for the New York Times by the book tag. If you did this tag, you know, link me below so I can watch your answers. And if you've read any of these books, you know, let me know as well. And, you know, just let me know, yeah, what you thought of these books. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Bye.